Hey guys, it's Max Calendrillo. Today I have a tremendous interview today. Top BKFC fighter Matt Jedi Floyd. Champ, how are you feeling today? And thank you so much for coming on.
No, good brother. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, it's an absolute pleasure. You just had a great and a really big fight against James DeGale. The entire BKFC world was talking about it. How are you feeling post that fight? And what are your overall thoughts?
It's a hard one post fight, isn't it? Because like obviously we all feel like we won it. Like everyone had told us we'd won it. The stats it wasn't like really close. I hit him, twice as many times. So when you hit someone twice as many times in a fight, and BKFC's judged differently, it's more like who's the aggressor and landed shots. Um, and obviously I came forward the whole fight and landed twice as many shots. So I think the whole point thing. There was a lot of confusion, I think, with like the way the point system works, I guess, or how the points come off me. How I feel as well was, I mean, like a lot of people talked about the headbutt, but millions of people talked about the controversy. Thought I won the fight, so I guess like them saying that he won, but everyone thought that I won actually did me probably more favors in like to in like if you want to talk about controversy and conversations and all that, I guess. The headbutt was disappointing. How like they filmed it and said it like I didn't headbutt him like as in I didn't like you can clearly see I didn't hit him with the headbutt. I missed him. He kept eye gouging me, which he's even admitted, but he's a veteran. He's been around a long time. Like his hands were in my eye, and he was just very smart, man. Like he was getting away with stuff, and I was I'm a lot more immature in the ring than him, so I kept reacting, and at the end there, he was doing it again, and I just like try to push his like finger, like get the out of my eye, and you can clearly see that I missed him. Like I didn't grab his head and headbutt him. If I headbutted him, I feel like I probably would have done a lot of damage. But yeah, they sort of turned it around and made a big deal about that. It was still shit that I reacted that way. I even did that, but you know, it is what it is.
It's in the past. It gave people a very interesting and a fight that you really cannot forget. Let me ask you this objectively. Where do you think this fight was so chippy between you and DeGale? I know there was some build up in the build up. There was some bad blood, and I know that the stylistic clash probably played a part in it being such a chippy fight where multiple points were deducted, and you guys are kind of struggling to really get a flow. Why would you break down why it was chippy in that regard?
Just like I feel like he was, writing me off like everyone thinks, it's gonna be an easy fight until they get in the ring with me. People don't realize that I trained myself in a prison cell. I didn't accept help from anyone until, like this year. Like I've only just started training properly, this year in Ireland. I trained myself and got myself here where I'm, like I just beat Shane Mosley. Just before that, I beat Cinnamon Cole, who's one of Asia's greatest fighters, just before that. So I'm doing things that shouldn't be done. And these people that are gold medalists, that have been training since they were kids, they don't know who I am and they think, oh, yeah, it's going to be an easy fight. And I could sense that, aura on him, the smug, like he kept saying, he didn't even want to barely do interviews with me because he thought I was going to be a stepping stone, a first round knockout. And as the whole world saw, I beat him every round. So,
Yeah, honestly, I think the fights you had previously were very interesting as well. And overall, I definitely didn't take you as seriously as he should have. We saw in that second round, I felt you deserved at least one of those knockdowns, arguably two of those knockdowns, which would have made the scoring system. It would have been some crazy scorecards if you got those knockdowns. You mentioned the Shane Mosley fight. I know that you really valued getting in the ring with a legend like him, and you also truly valued Roy Jones, who, in my opinion, is the most skilled fighter in boxing history, giving you praise after the fight. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how that felt and that experience for you?
um, the Shane Mosley experience was very, very emotional for me. I don't know if you know about my story when I was a kid. I grew up a bit differently, in different places, and a few things happened. And
Hmm.
um, I Shane Mosley, I met where I'm from in West Australia. We don't get many like people come out there, and Shane Mosley, came out when I was a young adult, and he could see me sort of hanging around, and he let me get in the ring with him, and it was my first hero, first idol, so it was a very emotional experience. Obviously, Roy Jones is one of the greats, the goats as well, and
for sure.
Yeah, he praised me after the fight. It was more of an emotional fight than anything. I can't even remember the Shane Mosley fight because it was that overwhelming for me. There's a lot of emotions involved, but yeah.
That's beautiful to hear, and I'm really glad you had that experience. I do know a little bit about your past history. To the people that don't know, if you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about your upbringing and your story and how you got to where you are today.
Well, pretty much I was in prison most of my 20s. We got we got done for kidnapping, pedophiles. I grew up in different places, and one of the places I stayed in was like a pedophile um family, and I guess like I would hope everyone hates pedophiles anyway, but I guess like I sort of went out of my way, and now like I could keep doing that when I got released, but kidnap another 10, 20 pedophiles. Think I'm helping the world doing that and spend the rest of my life in prison, but that's obviously not the right way, and I'm trying to reach a bigger platform now. I trained every day in prison, and when I got out, all I've been doing is fighting, and I believe I've won all my fights since I've got out, and I've been doing it through mainly grit and heart, and I just keep pushing forward and trying to reach them platforms so I can talk about raise awareness to all the stuff that happened to me growing up. I'm trying to show all boys that are going through stuff right now or been through stuff, or all men that are even in prison now, even at the age of 30. I'm trying to show them that they can get out and do anything. Like I'm in the talks with fighting the biggest names in the world. I have just fought the biggest names in the world. I just headlined two of the biggest shows in England. You know what I mean? Like I was in prison a few years ago, so I'm living proof, and I'm showing all men that literally anything can be done. Anything humanly possible can be obviously be done. I'm doing it.
You have a very fascinating story for sure. I think if you just keep up what you're doing, maybe they'll even make a movie on it at some point because that's an insane story. And in my opinion, I think you did what any man would want to do in that situation. This is how we'd want to react to it, and that's why a lot of people support you a lot throughout all of this because they relate to the anger that you felt when you did what you did, and they respect what you've done throughout your life overall, and you learning how to become a true fighter. Because I saw somewhere that you said that you really trained in prison. You became a good fighter through prison. Can you elaborate on training in prison and how you were able to become a good fighter, not even having a true boxing gym, but through jail itself?
It's tough. Like most of my training, 90% of it was in front of a mirror in my room. But then, you get like cheap gloves, and you're sparring with, a lot of the big boys, and you might be sparring three or four of them at a time in little rooms. You're not allowed to spar in prison, so you got to do it on the sly and get away with it. And you got these gloves which rip open after a week or two. So you pretty much sparring bare knuckle. And there's obviously some pretty big boys. It's always the bigger ones that will get in there with you. So I guess that's where you get your toughness from, and then skills I just try and develop. Like I learn things in the room, and you get help. You get people come in that have a bit of boxing knowledge. They might come in for a few months or a few weeks, and they you just you learn, and you make phone calls and ask questions, and you read books, and you pretty much got to teach yourself, but because you're there, and right now. I've got to now, and I'm aware that I'm at the highest level now, and I've got help now. I'm in Ireland. I'm training at Crumlin Boxing Gym, Conor McGregor's boxing gym, and with the coaches there, and now I'm trying to. It's very hard for them. Like they've been teaching boxing for 40, 50 years, and even with me, what they realize is I'm so different that they just want to add things to me rather than try and like teach me the basic fundamentals. Right now, they're trying to add a couple tools and clean me up a little bit,
No,
rather than
for sure. And I'm
yeah.
really glad that now you're in that position. You're at a tremendous gym in Ireland, right? You've already built up that toughness, that grit, that strength that you needed, and now they're just polishing and tweaking to a point where once you really get just a little more fine-tuned, you're gonna be real destroyer in the BKFC. And I think with you mentioning that you train bare knuckle in prison, it really shows that BKFC is perfect for you, right? I mean, you were built for this. When referencing the BKFC, it's getting a lot bigger recently. How are you feeling seeing the BKFC rise the way it is? And with you being one of the biggest names in the sport, you have such a head start as well.
Um, I get told a lot I'm made for bare knuckle. Bare knuckle wasn't around when I was in prison, and I told everyone in prison I was going to conquer the boxing world when I got out. So my heart was set on that. Obviously, life's weird and things happen, and everyone around me says you are perfect. Obviously for bare knuckle, but I'm happy to do either right now. It just depends on where it takes me. It's hard with the bare knuckle now. I kind of put myself in a position like I just everyone knows I beat James DeGale, but I didn't get the win. So now it's like I should have fought you know someone like Austin Trout, even Mike Perry, after beating James DeGale, but I didn't get that win. But everyone knows. So now it's like no one really wants to fight me because they see me beat James DeGale, but they don't get any credit for fighting me anyway. And so it's going to be a hard one. They're going to have to, like I did ask to, but they reckon it's just it's hard because they need to find me someone, you know, bigger than James DeGale now. But it's just, but I didn't get that win either. So it's a hard one, isn't it? So hopefully, like, something will happen. It's not up to me, it's up to other people, obviously. I've got some big boxing fights lined up too now. So it's a hard one. But I mean, I'm more than happy to do either. It's just whatever, I have to. I've worked real hard to get to where I am, and I just want to reach the biggest platform. So it's wherever, offers me the biggest platform, really, isn't it?
No, 100%. And I definitely see where you're coming from because now you're viewed as very high risk. And on paper, you're not lower, you're lower reward because you didn't get the DeGale nod, even if you deserved it. So, I personally would love to see the DeGale rematch. I don't think he would want that fight after what happened the first time, but I think that would be the fight that makes sense to really settle the score and really have a clear cut outcome. I wanted to ask you actually about a fight you did have in boxing. It was against, and I'm going to botch his name. It was Iumfam, the Asian that was 98-5. So you lost your first fight against him by split decision. You ended up coming back and beating him in a 12 round decision. Two questions I want to ask you. First, how did it feel fighting a guy that was 98-5? That must have been very interesting for your mind to adapt to. And B, how did you prove your mental resilience by overcoming a loss the first time and avenging it and clearly winning the rematch?
Man, this this is gonna take a lot. I'll try and tell this story as short as I can. I was an undefeated fighter. I think I was like 14 or 15 and 0, fighting in Thailand all last year because I couldn't fight back home, and he was like their best. He had their best resume. He was a WBC world champion twice, 98 wins, couple losses. He fought some of the biggest names. And I fought him in Thailand, bro, and he's a legend, like a proper legend in Thailand. Like he's in movies and stuff. So. I fought him, and what I didn't know was like his family. His family were like like the judges, man. Like they run the Thai
Oh
commission and
boy.
everything.
Oh
So
boy.
I broke my hand a week before the fight, actually sparring another bare knuckle fighter, Johnny Tello, a legend, and I broke my right hand, and everyone was like, "Mate, you got to pull out. Like you got no right hand. You're fighting a Thai legend. Like it doesn't matter if you have to knock him out. This guy's never been dropped in his whole life at this stage. I don't know what's happened since. He's had bare knuckle fights, hundreds of Muay Thai fights, and he's never been dropped in his whole career. Apparently, not even training. They call him like Jade Head or something. Like he's got some name because he's got that, you know. And but I being me, like I feel like, I love
The challenge,
being
right?
told I can't do something. So I fought him, and I literally, it probably beat him every single round, very like convincingly, and yeah, and he got the fight. There was a lot of controversy. This is probably what started like the talk around me because a lot of people got involved and stuck up for me. We got the fight reviewed. It actually got overturned. So five judges said I won I won unanimously. They all said it. So instead of giving me the win, the best they just made it a no contest. What they've done is I've still got that. Like I've put that up on my Instagram so people can see it. And and what's happened is they sent it to the Thai Commission, and it's up to the Thai Commission to honour it now and pass that through to Boxrec or whatever. And they just sat on it because the Thai Commission is like the Thais. So
Yeah, of course.
so they've just sat on it, bro, and just not done nothing about it. So what happened was I was obviously dirty in the situation. I didn't fight. Uh, I was dirty in this situation. There's a guy I met in Thailand who was Turkish, and he said, come to this. He goes, have a quick win in Thailand, and then come to, you'll be. I think I would have been 15 and 0 at that stage, or 15 and 1 now. Um, come to Turkey, and you can fight for the WBC because I had the WBC Asian title, international title. You can fight for the WBC silver title, which is like the one before the world, which at that stage was what I was chasing. And I was supposed to fight this number one fighter from I can't remember now, but he didn't make it. he couldn't come like a day before the fight, but the whole thing was just a scam. Like they just got me. Like they pretty much like robbed me. It was a bad promotion. And the guy was friends with Ciramong, the guy I fought, and he's like, listen, this is a day before the fight. You can rematch Ciramong. And I'm like, mate, I'm not rematching them ever again after what happened. And they're like, mate, it'll be my judges, it'll be fair, like I promise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'll rematch him on one condition that they honor the review. And I had it all in writing. I got it in my messages. Like they agreed to that. That was the deal. Like it's all been agreed. Anyway, I beat him in Turkey, beat him again. They gave me the proper win this time. And they still haven't honored it. So the loss is still on my record. So but it's just that's what happened there. That's a long. You probably didn't expect that story.
Yeah, that just sounds like a whole debacle that you had to go through with this guy, unfortunately. Boxing corruption is undoubtable all the time. It's something that the sports had to deal with for years and years. And I'm at least glad you were able to avenge that initial defeat and push through that initial defeat and keep moving forward. That's what matters most. We're running a little bit short on time. So is there any final message you want to say to the fans or where they can find you on the socials? Oh boy, your screen's frozen again.
Tommy,
You're good. I heard your entire story. It's just right at the end, your screen froze. So the
what
entire
did it get?
story.
Yeah, what did it get to?
It got to you finished the story. It was literally at the end where you said, "I bet you didn't expect to hear that," and then your screen.
Oh, great. Where are
Thankfully,
you, man?
right?
I can't find you. Oh, here we go.
Thankfully,
Oh,
right? It's
yeah, that would be. Yeah,
we've got a couple more minutes before my time runs out on the Zoom, but that was a
yeah,
tremendous story. Thank you so much for going that into that much detail. That was boxing corruption, right? What can you do? It's always something in the sport, and it's always something that the sport's been plugged with for a while. What I'm glad about is that you were at least able to avenge your so-called loss, and you made it very clear because you didn't just win; you won virtually every round aside from the point deduction.
yeah. And you can watch the fight online. Most people watched it, and like they all like agreed. Like there wasn't, you know, there might have been a round or two, but it was
It
like
was
it was
clear
very
cut, right?
clear.
Not
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
There was no chance. I mean, sometimes they even say it's like too big to rig, right? You won so many rounds that it would have been very hard for any corruption to get through. What are some final messages you want to give to the fans overall, just about yourself, what they can expect from you for the rest of, I guess, beginning of next year in the sport of combat?
I'm just literally fighting for man's for man's mental health. Like I'm trying to show every man, um, like I said, like I'm trying to show every man, every boy that's been to prison or being abused or living in homes or any man that's in been in prison or in prison right now. I'm trying to show all men that literally anything can be done. Like my whole story is about you know perseverance and like and hurdles and like even now there's hurdles, even the big Al fight there was hurdles like every single time, and I just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and I want to show all men that anything can be done. It doesn't matter about your past. Pretty much that's the main point, really.
I love to hear that, and it's a big inspiration to all watching. You've overcome a lot of hurdles and barriers in the past, and I'm sure that this whole situation now in your previous fights is only going to build you up even more, and you're going to have a great career, so on. Where can the fans all find you on social media?
It's Maddie the Jedi, so like Star Wars Floyd, like Pink Floyd, Floyd. So yeah, Matty, Matty, the Jedi, and then Floyd.
Well, everyone, you guys got a lot of information from this champ today. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. We'd love to have you on some point down the line as well. Make sure to check out his social, check out his future fights because you guys are going to get a lot of entertainment in the future. Thanks to everyone that watched.